in an earlier video, It's All About the Wool, which I put out in September, we showed Sarah taking our top line and classing it into a bin and entering it and getting a bale to put in the Zegna competition. Now, by way of background, the Zegna firm is an Italian fashion house, and they're renowned for their uncompromising dedication to producing quality fabrics and clothing. The firm was founded in 1910 by Ermenegildo Zegna. I hope I pronounced that correctly, because I have no Italian and I'm probably butchering it. But anyway, that's you just have to put up with that, Italian. Sorry about that. In Treviso, which is a town in the Biella province in, I think it's Piedmont region in northern Italy. Current chairman's Paolo Zegna, and the CEO is another Ermenegildo Zegna. Those guys are third generation Zegnias. It's still a family firm. I think they took the reins in 1997 or thereabouts. And when I say it's still a family firm, I think there's a recent deal done where they're going to go public. They've done a deal with an American private equity firm, I think, to go public, and that values, I can't remember, it's $2 billion or $3 billion. I think it's $3.2 billion that they valued the company at. They're certainly the biggest menswear brand in the world by revenue. I think in 2018 they had something like 240 stores, or maybe it was 280 worldwide, and they had revenue of 1.2 billion euro. 90% of that was exports, and about 10% was in Italy. For such a large organisation, Zegna still retain their family values, and they give a lot back to the community. Before sustainability became a buzzword back in the 1930s, they were planting thousands of trees, and in the 1990s, I think it was, they created 100 square kilometres of protected natural area in the mountains around Treviso in Italy. And in 2000, I think, or thereabouts, they set up a charity to promote sustainability and environmental causes, and they donate 5% of their profits each year to that charity. They've also set up a scholarship fund, and I think they contribute about €1 million a year to that scholarship fund. And recently, with the drought in Australia, they spend a lot of money on helping Australian farmers drought-proof their farms with water programs. So they put their money where their mouth is, these guys. They're fair income in their approach to sustainability and the environment, and they have been for a very long time before it became a trendy thing. And look, that's one of the reasons that we're sort of so chuffed that they're keen to buy our wool. Zegna's commitment to wool quality is evidenced by the Wool Awards that it established in Australia in 1963. So they've been supporting the industry with awards for about 50 years. Currently they sponsor 2 awards. One is the Velis Aurum Trophy, which is for an individual fleece and for the fineness of that fleece. So besides the good quality that it has to have, they're also looking for a fine fleece. I think that was won by the Rowbottom family a few years back with a fleece of 9.9 microns, and the Rowbottoms have won that for 5 or 6 times at least, I think, that Velis Aurum Trophy. So the other award that they sponsor is for the Superfine Wool Trophy, and that's for a line of wool 1 to 5 bales. The maximum can be 5 bales. And that's not necessarily just the fineness of the wool. It's judged by independent judges, and the criteria include the fineness, the style, the length, the strength, the colour and the evenness, and probably a few other things that the judges take into account as well. Now, we started growing wool in 1999, and for many years it was just an aspiration to have wool good enough just to be able to enter the competition, let alone, think about going any further. And in 2018, our broker Harold Manton said, "Oh, look, some of this wool is probably good enough to enter into the competition." And he came down to the shed after shearing, and we picked out some fleeces and put it in a bale and put it in the competition. It didn't make the final 10. And neither did we really expect that it would. But we learned a fair bit from that. And in 2019 we thought, we'll put another bale in, but then the drought came along, and the wool was full of dust, and it was very poor quality wool. So we said, well, we can't really put a bale in that competition. So we thought, well, in 2020 we will. But then 2020, COVID came along, and Zegna suspended the competition for a good reason. So we said, oh, well, we'll put a bale in 2021, which we've done. And just yesterday, an email came through advising that our bale had made the top 10. So as you can imagine, we're pretty thrilled about that. We didn't really expect it. The final judging will take place in January. There's been a lot of good wool around this season, so I don't imagine that we'll finish in the final placings. But hey, you never know, you've got to be in it to win it. Traditionally, they hold an awards ceremony where everyone comes together and they present the awards. But because of COVID, I don't imagine that that will happen. But anyway, whatever happens with the results, we'll let you know in a future video. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it.